We're going to stay in the UK for now because a major overhaul is underway at the National Theatre after the organisation pledged to reach net zero by 2030. Items used in stage productions are now being repurposed in a move to become more sustainable.
Ballet Shoes is a much-loved children's classic. Critics have called this adaptation at the National Theatre a visual feast. And while the focus is understandably on the spectacle on stage, off-stage, something quietly radical is happening on these rails, sourced from here. Sky News given special access to the National Theatre Green Store. Over 131,000 items of costume and almost 22,000 props housed under one roof so that designers will come here to repurpose and reuse existing materials to try to cut their carbon footprint. So having all of this as a resource is all part of the organisation's push to achieve net zero by 2030. So say you need a hat. It's all here. A bag, shoes, or even a cape. The point being that there's plenty here to reuse, that theatre needn't take a fast fashion approach to buying stuff like this from scratch. This large-scale sustainability initiative is the national leading by example. Part of its attempts to move towards a circular economy after pledging that 50% of materials it uses on its productions needs to have had a previous life and 65% will be repurposed at the end of each production.
Some of the items here, like period knitwears.
It's required a major shift in approach to hit those targets.
You've got the sort of different cuts of the hem like that.
Costume designer Samuel Wire enjoying the almost punk approach to working with old garments.
Theatre is where we come to imagine who we've been and who we could be. We were able to dip clothes, we were able to cut clothes, which meant I was finding things that were even outside of my imagination, things that were more perfect than I could have drawn on a piece of paper.
It could be an incredibly wasteful project and we didn't want to do that.
Requiring even greater skill on the part of many of the creatives here.
Lots of second-hand cabinets, bookshelves.
Rather than work with clean cuts of wood, carpenters tasked by set designer Frankie Bradshaw to work with sections of repurposed furniture.
Every piece has its own little quirks and they've had to adapt their processes to fit that new way of working.
While it's not easy, the process is proving rewarding.
It requires everyone to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more patient, but it does mean that you can end up with a product you're a lot more proud of.
In accepting the climate crisis, if all the world's a stage, here at least there's recognition of the importance of making sure theirs is a sustainable one. Katie Spencer, Sky News.